Hello, hello, Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and are you sure? Okay, here we go. The truth is, God would not allow me to lie about anything to anyone. And for me, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Yeah, I said it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Because when you tell the truth to some people, it can make them angry, as you are well aware. Like, there are people that cannot handle the truth. If you think about the movie A Few Good Men, right? Think about the movie A Few Good Men. What was his name? Santiago? Santiago was his name, I believe. The truth about Santiago was he was hated because he was not respected. He was not liked by not only people in his platoon, I believe it's called, but by the upper echelon of individuals. And so what they did to him was a code red, which was supposed to get him in order, get him to step his game up, so to speak, get him to, get on board, do whatever you need to do to, keep up with this crew. But the truth was, he was never going to be accepted. He was never going to be accepted by anybody. And because of the higher-ups, right, that could give the orders to do this, that, and the other, he died. It didn't have to go that way. The same thing goes for people in upper authority, powerful positions, right? They don't like to be told the truth unless it's them that's uncovering that truth. And then they wouldn't want it to be shared with others. They'd want to keep it hidden. They'd want to keep it under wraps. They wouldn't want to be exposed. So going back to the movie, you might say, okay, how does that tie it? Listen, going back to the movie, A Few Good Men, instead of that upper officer, Jack Nicholson, coming out and saying straight up, hey, yeah, I ordered a code red on him because of this and this and this and this. I did it. Instead of him just owning up to it and saying he did it and giving his reasons, justification as to why he did it, and standing behind that, he chose to lie and then cover up, his flight plans and so on and so forth. Cover up this and that. It wasn't until he was pushed to the limit, that he finally confessed and told the truth. And how did he tell the truth? He yelled it out. He yelled out the truth. As if he had been done wrong. As if someone had violated him. As if his life was being put on the line, because his life was. His reputation was. His reputation was. His ability to perform in his position was in jeopardy. He didn't want to lose that power. He didn't want to lose his position of authority. He wanted to be on top, in control, commanding other people to engage in behaviors that he himself did not want to do. because then he wouldn't have been cloaked. God kept me from lying to people for many years. There was one instance where I finally said, you know what? It's just not worth it. It's not worth lying about anything. So if someone asks a question, I'm going to answer it honestly, even if that's something about me. I'm going to answer it honestly. And sadly, you know what? When I would answer truthfully with some people, I could see their reaction. I could tell that they were pissed off, that they were angry, that I told the truth, even if it was about me. Even if it was something that would have been embarrassing. Something that if they were to, have it said about them, they would be embarrassed. They would get upset with me when I would share something that to them I should be embarrassed about, and I'm not. Even me being a bigender woman, there are men out there that are secret cross-dressers or down low men that enjoy playing with homosexual men, which I am not. When they see me out in the world and I'm showing myself, my authenticity, I'm being truthful, they're angry about that. Because to them, that's not something that they would want to be truthful about. They're ashamed of it, they're embarrassed by it, but they're still doing it. If you're ashamed of it, you're embarrassed by it, why are you doing it? If you wouldn't want anybody else to know, why are you doing it? And that's just one area where people lie. So I said, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to be honest. So if I were Jack Nicholson in that movie, A Few Good Men, and I was a commander-in-chief, and I saw someone within that was lacking, I would have handled it differently. Personally, I would have handled it differently. But if I were to do the same thing that he did in that movie, you know what I would have done? I would have told the fucking truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if that got me caught up, if that got me demoted, kicked out of the military, then so be it. Because I would have been guilty of doing it. So if you're doing something, if you're engaged in something that you don't want to be found out about, you don't want to be made to feel ashamed of or embarrassed by, then why are you doing it? That's why we have such a problem with lies now today. I was thinking about an ant. An ant that was really a rat and a roach in my life. And I didn't know that they were. But the thing was, they were envious and jealous of my talents and my gifts. I remember this ant, we were driving up to North Carolina, and I was really into drawing and being creative, and I was doing different hairstyles, and this aunt of mine was a hairstylist. And I did all these portraits, and I've been thinking about her the last couple of days for a reason. And I did all these portraits, I was like 10 years old. Did all these different hairstyles, whatnot, and I wanted to show them to her, because I knew she was a hairstylist, and I thought that she could, use those, or see them, or, something. I was I was impressed by her. She had the skill to be able to do hair. I was impressed by that. I wasn't hating on her. I wasn't trying to show her up. I wanted her support. I wanted her, I don't even want to say approval, but I wanted her to see that I was gifted as well too, and that I was interested in going down that same path, and she saw that as competition. She saw me as competition. And I did not appreciate that she engaged in that behavior the way that she did. I found it really infuriating and really, now that I know the truth about that, I found it really infuriating and really just, why would she do that? Why would she do that? Why would she see me as a threat and then engage in behaviors to try to make me succumb to having downfalls in my life? I did not get that. I did not get that. It was very infuriating. It was very upsetting to know that my own family, and this is not just her, several members, whenever I would tell the truth or express myself, it was seen as a threat. Whenever I displayed a gift or a skill or a talent, that was seen as a threat. So it makes people, and I kind of understand this now, I understand and I see this truth. Why there are a lot of individuals within certain families that they leave their hometown. They leave from around their family. They don't put up with their family. They don't deal with their family. And they have good reason not to. Because a lot of them have seen what their family is capable of doing in other people's lives when they feel threatened. Back to the movie A Few Good Men. When Jack Nicholson was basically being investigated, and everybody was trying to find information, the lawyers were going around trying to find information, what happened, how did it go down, so on and so forth, how did Santiago die, how, just trying, what did he do? He went to great lengths to try to stop the truth from coming out. And that's what you have in a lot of people, is when the truth starts to come out and people start to talk and information is received, as to what really happened. How did this all start? How did this all come to be? How did this happen? Because Santiago died. Santiago died. He died. But they didn't think that he would die. They didn't think that he would die from what they did to him. What about the people that do things against you, against me, against others? where they know that what they're doing is going to get someone killed. And they don't care. That's a damn shame. But it happens. What about the ones you hear about that go to another country or out of town with their group of friends? And one of them gets killed. One of them gets set up to be killed because the group of friends are jealous of one of the people within their friend group. It's real. This crap happens, y'all. What about the stories that you don't hear about? What about those? That's why you have to be very cautious and aware of who you call friends. And sadly, for a lot of people, you have to be cautious and aware of your own family. But what if you don't know how bad your family is? What if you don't know how toxic your family is? Until it's too late. Until you're dead. Imagine you find out everything. Imagine you find out everything that your so-called family has done to come against you. And they never expected you to find out because you were supposed to be dead. Imagine you find out. How are you going to respond? How are you going to react? You know, some people, they only love you because if they were to show you how they really felt about you, it would be straight hate. And I'm thinking of the Sepultura strong straight hate. Some of these people would have straight hate towards you, but they love you to your face, and they have straight hate behind your back. This is the crap that happened in that movie A Few Good Men. But this wasn't your blood family. This was a military family where they have a code and ethics and honor and service. But when one or two or three individuals see someone as being weak or a threat or a problem or not as good as everybody else, they'll subject them to some of the harshest treatment, which is what they did to Santiago. He couldn't take it though, right? That's how they put it. That's how they saw it. He couldn't take what they put him through. so for Jack Nicholson, as his character, think about what he may have thought when Santiago died. He didn't care. He saw that as proof that he didn't belong. And so he then just swept it under the rug and move on. Not cool. None of it is cool. None of it is right. All evil. All wicked. All cruel.